20 lines of code and boom, there's an agent. But what are we missing? There is no place to see like who accessed what information, what tool, and what data. We want a low code, no code friction way to build these agents. What do IT team actually wants? Everything in UC gets logged as well. So you can actually see the request, response, the token, latency, all the errors that's happening in each individual call. So I'm here to talk about how we are building governed agents at Databricks and like from prototype stage to production. As we all know, like everyone's building agent. There's like open frameworks coming out every week. There's agent platforms as well. There are like SaaS models coming out every other day as well. Like there are two just came out yesterday, the big ones, and they're like coding tools that everyone started using in their day-to-day life as well. This has caused a problem called agent sprawl, that we don't know which agent's actually good, which agent's bad, which tools are actually good for production, which ones are just for testing, which is causing some like security issues and stuff like that. So how do you actually know which tools to use in production? Why is this happening in the first place? As we all know that everyone's like building agents nowadays. Like previously there was like only traditional ML people building ML models and like productionizing it. But now everyone like a BI engineer or any engineer is just building these agents. There are dozens of frameworks out there like LangChain, Llama Index, like bunch more coming every day. And there's like 20 lines of code and boom, there's an agent, right? But what are we missing? There is no like a single place to discover all of these agents. There is no place to see like who accessed what information, what tool, and what data. There's like no policy, there's no guardrails, there's no audit logging there anywhere. That's like standard across the board. And like if agents like misbehaving, how do I know like I need to go and revoke access? Like I don't want this agent to work on behalf of me. And how do we solve it? It's actually needs to be a balancing act, right? Like the developers don't want to lose the ease of actually building an agent like in 10 minutes, right? Like we want a low code, no code friction way to build these agents. They just want to like, hey, give access to the data and then let the agent answer for me. But what do IT team actually wants? Like they want like a centralized space so that they can have like consistent like policy controls, guardrails, audit logging, end-to-end observability of what the agent is actually accessing as well. So at Databricks, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar about it. Like we have a thing called Unity Catalog, which we've used so far to actually go on our data at Databricks. So for the folks who don't know, Unity Catalog is like so far been a unified governance layer on all of your data across all the cloud providers, across workspaces. So you can have like tables, models, functions, everything in UC, and across all your cloud, like Azure, GCP, and like AWS, and it still works like, and all the governance happens through that fine-grained access control through UC. So the key features like in UC so far that we support is like fine-grained access policies. Like you can grant, revoke access to specific data. You can do like row level filtering, call level filtering, all of that ABAC, RBAC rules. You can audit and lineage all of this data as well, like who's actually accessing the data and like which for building this model, which data was used, which connections were used, and stuff like that as well. It was just easier for us to just extend all of this to the AI landscape as well. So like now we can imagine like ML models, like all the connections, agents, skills, MCP servers, tools, they can all be in UC as well. And we get all of the benefits that we've been getting so far on the UC side to do all of the same exact stuff in AI line as well. So it becomes like a single source of truth for anything and everything that you can access, not just for your data, but also for your AI products as well. You can imagine like a single place that you can like, even if the data is like outside, like people are building agents outside of Databricks or in Databricks, they can just use UC as a way to discover, to governance, to lineage across everything like models, MCP servers, skills, agents, whatnot. So it's like a unified platform for all of your AI development lifecycle. You can prepare your data that's already in UC. You can actually build agents and you can do governance on top of your agents and you can deploy it. And then you can do like all of the lineage tracking, like all the payload logging, you can actually track your request and output responses. You can do tracing. You can even evaluate all of these models as well using LLM as a judge. And when all of these tracings are already stored in UC, and then you can do like guardrails, like all the credential management, rate limiting, and all of that as well. So let me dive a bit more deeper into how we actually do like tool governance using the MCP gateway. At Databricks, we have different types of MCP servers. The first one being the managed MCP server, which is like the first out of that is like a Genie MCP server where you can just ask like send a query in natural language, will return you back a SQL, and it will actually answer data for you. Or you can directly do like SQL calls directly using this MCP server, will execute the SQL and return the data back to you. There's things like semantic search or even like custom UC functions that you can create, and then that will just like execute on your behalf. The second one, which is like more popular, and I'll do a quick demo on that one, is how do I connect to like third-party SaaS applications like Slack, GitHub in a governed manner, rather than just like randomly sending a Slack message or like randomly accessing Google on like Google Drive documents on your behalf. That's like really scary, like random, like creating a new Google Doc or viewing it like a private doc that you didn't want your agent to view. And I'll do a quick demo on that one as well. And the last one is like marketplace, where people can actually host their MCP servers in Databricks, and then any customer who can actually just install that marketplace MCP server and then start using it. So as you can see, like UC is becoming like a single pane of glass for all of your MCP servers, not just Databricks ones, but external ones and a marketplace hosted ones as well. And then since it's all on top of UC, you can get by default all of the RBAC, ABAC policy controls. You get all the token management, like secure credential storage, permissioning, and all of that as well through UC. And because of that, any IDE that is actually MCP compatible can connect to this UC governance layer, the catalog layer, and like things like Cloud Code, Agent Bricks, that's like way to create agents in Databricks, custom applications, IDEs can directly connect to this MCP catalog. And this is just like a view of how our MCP catalog looks like. I'll show that more in details in the demo as well. And like you can use it in Databricks and also by using like connecting to local IDs as well. So as you guys can see, like this is like our Unity catalog page. And I'm going to create a quick connection over here to connect to Jira, for example. So I'm just going to call it Jira connection. I'm going to create the auth one and use the Atlassian MCP server for that one. And then like I can even customize the scopes as well that I want to do, but I'll just take the default scopes that I have so far, which is read only, and then boom, I've actually created a connection. So as you can see, I can come into UC and then grant access to specific users as well. So I can come here and can say that, hey, which users like should I actually have access to? So I can tell like my colleague Sid should have access to this. I can like say like use connection or like grant all privileges. You can change edits and update the scopes and stuff as well. Or it's like, hey, you can use the Jira MCP server by default. So I can grant the Sid access. I can even grant like other users access, like all account users or something like that. So I can do like fine-grained access control on this one too. So once I actually have the like the connection created, I can go through the login flow. Like similar to the OAuth process, I can like log in through this. So ask for consent for all the scopes that I have actually asked for. And boom, here. So now you see it's actually managing all the credentials on your behalf. Like you'll do the token refresh and all of that. So it's like really seamless to the customers. They don't need to like figure out, hey, the token's expired. I need to go refresh my token and all of the management. Like using just OAuth, you can do all of the management in Databricks as well. Now, as I mentioned, like these are like the MCP catalog before that I just showed you before. These are all the MCP servers that we have. And if I select one of the external ones, there's a Jira connection that I just created. And you can see these are all the list of tools that a Jira connection MCP server has by default that we can start using it. And you can see like there are like list of like 4 pages of tools that we can use to connect and talk to Jira. And let me quickly try that out as well. So as you can see, like I'm using like ChatGPT 5.4 and adding like the Jira connection tool and say, hey, can you read the information of this ticket? Something so really simple. And so it's able to actually get that information and like get all of that information, like, hey, what this ticket is about and like who's assigned to it and stuff like that. So you can see like quickly in like 10 seconds, I was able to actually query Jira, get that information that I wanted. And this can scale to like GitHub and other providers as well. So as you saw, like this agent was able to actually connect to the IDP server, get your token, and all on user's behalf. Like it was able to actually take my access token and query directly to Jira. And then agent was actually able to carry forward all the identity till the end user. But there is still something missing, right? Like you saw like there were like 4 pages of all the different tools. But what if as an agent developer or an admin, I don't want to give access to like, for example, creation. I don't want to say that, hey, if I cannot create my ticket in this particular like fraud project or something like that. Or I don't want to like give access to like reading Confluence data or something like that. So the admins can actually set like guardrails and controls on top of it by using something like ABAC policies that we already have in UC. So people can actually do like, hey, on every request, I want like Jira PII detection, where you can say like use an LLM as a judge or something like that to directly detect, hey, is is this input or response that's coming back from the MCP server, is it actually functional? I can set up like custom functions as well to do like all the monitoring, detection, like access or allow or deny that, or even ask saying that, hey, I want to ask users that, hey, should I do this action or should I do this request before I've been making the call? Or admins can even downscope and specifically say that I only want like read-only tools or get Confluence information as well, or use like tags, like MCP supports like tool annotations. We can actually use policies on top of those annotations as well and say that I only want to support like read-only tools and no destructive tools, for example. So using these policies and fine-grained policy access controls, you can actually do all of that. So how are these actually policies enforced, right? Like, so every agent call, when you actually make a call, we look up the policy and see if that convert that into a cell evaluation and seeing if the agent actually has access to this information or not. And then based on that, as I mentioned, you can actually say, hey, deny access, or you're allowing that, or hide the tool and stuff like that as well. So once these policies are applied, now you can see like I've restricted the number of tools as well. Like rather than having like 4 pages of like a lot of these tools, I can even restrict it down to like 3 pages or like reduce it even like for like just 2 tools or something like that as well. And that even like reduces the context window of what the agent can actually see as well. It reduces like the cost of the LLM too. The last thing that I want to talk about is overall observability. Like we've talked about like all about like governance and stuff of it so far, but what about like what's happening end-to-end when I actually make a query? UC by default provides all of this real-time lineage as well that you can actually see, hey, this is all the data that's actually used to build an agent. And then once you can actually see like all the sources, the columns, and everything end-to-end. And this is like all real time. Like on a particular query, you can see all of that information as well. As I said, like everything in UC gets logged as well. So you can actually see the request, response, the token, latency, all the errors that's happening in each individual call through that as well. And we store all of that. You can query like this, like through SQL dashboards. You can view this. You can do like jobs. You can set up alerts saying, hey, if something went wrong, please alert me that, hey, this, so it's like in the night, you can actually sleep unless you actually get an alert. And that should like help you like, hey, like actually track the agents end to end. Lastly, like we also do like all of this through OTel, like tracing into MLflow. So you can actually log like all of these traces are actually stored into Delta tables in the OTel format. So you can actually run built-in judges, like open source MLflow actually has a way to like learn all of these judges, like, have built-in judges at Databricks as well. You can customize these rules. So as soon as the info request comes in, you can evaluate, does it did a good job? If not, you can set up alerts. You can do like live traffic. You can scorings on the live traffic as well. And like all of this can be governed again through UC, like, hey, who can actually view these traces, who can run these evaluations, and what information that a person can get as well.